Good morning. Let's go for this discussion. It's a pleasure to have here these three persons, like Carola Perez from the Spanish Observatory, also from representing patients, no? From Two Emotions organization in Madrid. We have also Rob Salman from Curaleaf, one of the biggest companies worldwide, I will say. It's an honor for us. It's an American company, but it's one of the main, let's say, with most presence in Europe. So thank you so much for coming. And we have Pablo Sancho from Medical Plants, which is an LP producer in the south of Spain. And welcome to us. And me, myself, that maybe few of you know me. I'm working in sovereign fields. I've been observing the scenario on Spain for, let's say, a couple of decades. So, yeah, thank you, CannabisHub, for put this panel on to talk. No, sorry, maybe my English is not quite enough good, but we will try to do the best because Rob is, in this case, the one that speaks English. He comes from Canada as well. So, yeah, we have like 30, 40 minutes to have this discussion. Obviously, on medical cannabis, we could be like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours talking. Could be super interesting talk. But in this case, we are going to try to do it, make you a few questions. There is going to be 3 like common questions, and then I will try to make you individually questions to each of you. Yeah, it's funny because Pablo, for example, comes from the big pharma, but he's now producing raw material. Rob, as well, is a grower, is head operation in Portugal, Lisbon of Curaleaf International. And he's a grower, but he's now managing one of the biggest facilities in Europe. And he will explain later how everything started in Canada, because he was part of the seed of what happened in Canada like nearly 20 years ago. And we have Carola, that represents patients, but is one of the Spanish reference on cannabis legalization on the medical space, let's say. No? So it's a reference. Other countries, we have MAMS. Here we have Carola, which is an amazing representative of patients, I will say. We are very proud, all the people that we use cannabis for therapeutic purposes, that have you involved in all the scenario and everything what happens. So we will have time to ask to you how it's been this process of potential regulation in Spain, no? Oh, we have micro for Carola? We have technical problems, no? Yeah, try. No? ¿Sí, this one? Switch on.
Hola.
Ahora, yeah.
No, I was saying that I'm here not at just Dos Emociones today, but as representative of the ICM Patient Council. We are a project that we represent 22 associations from all over the world, especially Europe. Okay. So it's not like Carola, but all the Carolas from the world. Simone from Switzerland is there, Mohammed from UK is there. So we will talk about European perspective, also about Spain, but I will also would love to talk about the European situation if it's possible.
Okay, thanks. So, yeah, I was going to do an intro evaluation of what is happening with the medical cannabis. Every country that decides to regulate, it takes like, let's say, minimum 4 or 5 years to implement the model. This is something we are seeing everywhere in all the countries that they start to regulate it. It's true that sometimes we say, no, this is still very young, the medical cannabis market. Sometimes we say, no, it's like in 90s, the .com, no? The websites and everything that, no? Then we see like .coms, it happened worldwide. Cannabis is happening, medical cannabis, no? In each country, each experience, and there is a lot of things to learn, mistakes, things that are not regulated properly, the patents are not happy. So My first question for the three of you is like, which one is the perspective of the medical cannabis against the adult use? I mean, we are seeing, for example, now in Germany that they took like between 6 years between regulating the medical cannabis to jump in to a proposal adult use. Canada, it took much more time. United States are the same. So which one is the perspective for the medical cannabis against the adult use?
Medical cannabis was recognized globally for the therapeutic uses, so it's represented scientifically, so I think that way. But for adult use in the rec market, there's a lot of regulatory hurdles plus social concerns for implementing that. So I think the rec market usually takes a little bit longer to implement to make everyone happy, I think.
Carola?
Well, I think that in the case of Germany, for example, when we talk with our colleagues from the SCM, the patient association there, they're a little bit concerned that the regulation in Germany, the recreational regulation, is going to forget the work that is done by patients. Because sometimes the feeling of companies using our pain to make money, to get into the industry, and then go into recreational is, we all know that is happening. But what we would love to let them know is like, don't forget about the patients, because now they're going to be really focused on the recreational market, and it can harm a little bit the patients. But in the other side, it's really good for us to have regulation as recreational, because maybe the medicinal market cannot offer things that I need as a patient. And sometimes we, the patients, we are expert enough to know what do we know for our health. So from my perspective, there is the naive patients, the expert patients. So for an expert patient, it would be great if you go to a dispensary or to a cannabis social club to get clean. Most cheap, maybe, cannabis. But on the other side, looking at the naive patients is not going to help. It's not going to help for the clinic, from the perspective of the clinical trials. They're going to stop. Also, some of them. So yeah, we will see what's going on, but we have the two sides, no?
Yeah, this is going with my next question, but yeah, Pablo, your vision?
I would like that not to express in terms of adult use against medical use. I think there are two worlds that could survive together, and not one against the other. Because I think this is for me, is one of the main problems, that the medical use of cannabis is polluted by the adult use. There are people that are fear about the cannabis, the adult use of cannabis, and what they try to do is to stop the adult using a prescription from a physician. That is something that has happened, for example, in Germany. So for me, that there is two worlds that must be able to develop their world by themselves. I think in cannabis, in medical cannabis, that we have to work a lot in clinical trials, in something that help the physician to use the cannabis as another medicine, and not to be focused or fear about what the people can use it in other uses. So I would like this. But I think it's difficult. And as we have seen in other countries, they start doing with medical cannabis. Of course, people that want to use in adult use try to get to this market, because it is more guaranteed, the quality of the cannabis.
Yeah, Pablo, but if you check, like in Portugal, they have the law, they have 100 licenses, but the patients still don't have access. They have to buy really expensive tilray flowers. So the industry is not making the regulatory, and they are not helping patients to get access. And I think this is we think it's a great mistake that the industry is doing. They are not getting to know their clients, the customers, the patients. they are into producing, but if there is not market, because we have not enough patients, the doctors are not trained enough, and everything, maybe you can do some numbers, but they are not going to work at the end, and I think this is one of the great mistakes the medicinal cannabis industry has made.
Yeah, and also intelligently roll out the rec market at a certain time, because if you watch Canada, I'm Canadian, so it's pretty embarrassing to watch what had happened in Canada, and to intelligently roll out the rec market with the medical, like you were saying, with the medical cannabis market in a certain way that you're not destroying the medical market, and you're educating the patients, and people, new beginner users are coming to talk to their doctor about doing it, not going to the cannabis shop and buying it that way. You need to have the education, like you're saying, and the ease of access for patients.
Okay, so this first question was aligned with the second one, because how you see, because well, from my perspective, when we have discussions with the cannabis, there is medicinal use, there is therapeutical use, and today Steve D'Angelo is not here. 10 years ago, we invited to a conference, and it was amazing. He was talking about a wellness product, no? The cannabis like a wellness product, and in reality, the cannabis is also a, let's say, a professor plant. It's a plant of power. It's introspective plant. So learn to use the plant is not so easy. So on your vision, where you place the cannabis, obviously can be a medicine, but still there needs to be a lot of research and develop new isolated medicines, no, with different clinical trials. There is a lot of people that use like therapeutical plant to reduce the stress, the anxiety, or whatever. And for majority of the people, even adult use, I don't like a recreational term, but even adult use has some healthy impact in the life of the people that is using the adult use. So where could you schedule this plant?
Let me explain how do we feel. As Araceli said always, medicinal is already regulated. You have Sativex, Epidiolex, these medicines have made the clinical trials that demonstrate or not. Therapeutical use, from my perspective, it's like, I'm going to give you 2 examples of people in this room. Our representative from Switzerland needs 100 milligrams THC per day. I need 100 CBD milligrams per day, 50 milligrams THC per day. This is a need that I have to do every day. It's 8 hours with my methadone and my medicine. And the well-being, of course, is another issue. But for us, it's a treatment we need to survive. So I think the difference is quite clear. Medicine is the products that have completed all the steps. Therapeutical is the people who need it to survive. And well-being is you can use it or not. Maybe one day you feel like using it, one day you don't want. You can choose, I cannot.
Okay.
I agree, it's versatile, so it could take all the markets. You just have to be educated on what market you fit in.
Okay. Pablo, any comment?
I think it's very difficult to put, to isolate one use of another. But for me, what is clear is that one day or another, the adult use must be allowed, must be put it in the market and has to be approved, because otherwise there's no space for medical use in the future.
I was asking because, for example, it's funny, like if, let's take the example of Germany, like we have the flower, like final medicine. It's an active pharmaceutical ingredient. But in reality, most of the medicines come from the isolated cannabinoids. So now it happens that you have like 400 different types of flowers in Germany, not always the same quality, not always the same compounds on cannabinoids, even being the same strain. So most of the people that is using cannabis for like medicine, the flowers, 80% of that patients come, or they used to be users of cannabis before, no? So then the doctors, it's like they face a situation where sometimes it's like the patent go more a dispensary than for a medicine, no? So this type of contradictions also come with the
But I think this is a mistake from the industry, because if you talk to the doctors with the terms cannabinoids and terpenes, it would be much easier for a doctor to understand, like you say, banana cake with gelato by blueberry, whatever.
Yeah.
The doctors, when they see this, they freak out, and they think on recreational adult use. So why didn't we start by using the right terms, cannabinoid and terpene profiles? So they will know if I change this patient and I have more THC, more CBD, maybe they need more myrcene, more limonene. This is the proper way of making medicine if we want to do it properly, but the industry didn't catch this, and now we have to talk to the doctors and say to them, not indica, not sativa. We have to make them learn again how to use cannabis with patients. Yeah. Because each strain is a different medicine for us.
No, even it's more funny because here in the agency, for example, so it's funny because, for example, the Spanish agency, they say, why you are doing research with the terps? How affect the terps to the medicine? Even if you register a plant or a flower in Germany, it's not needed to register the terps. Mm-hmm. So it's funny still, it's so young, no? The industry and the pedagogy.
Thank God they don't take it.
Yeah, but also you get the patients that are avid cannabis users, and they don't just go by the cannabinoid profile. They don't just go by the THC, the cannabinoids, the terpenes. They go by the actual bag appeal. So when they open the jar, the smell, everything, they're like, okay, just by the smell sometimes they're like, this is good cannabis, and it's going to be good for me medically. But I think 60, 70% of the people are still that old avid cannabis users coming to the medical market in that mindset. But all the new patients, I think, are the ones that are going to be, that need to buy the cannabinoid trials and terpenes and figure out the doctor working with them, what works for them, what terpenes work with them, and what cannabinoids work with them, what percentages. So.
Also, we need to realize that patients with opioid and benzos, we don't have a smell and taste. So for us, these kind of issues that are really important, sometimes we cannot enjoy them.
Yeah.
Okay, so with these two first questions, I want to jump on a question. Where do you see Spain in 5 years? I mean, I just want to have a little bit overview about Spain. It took like even, you've been doing activism, when it's been for 20 years, patents, demanding a regulation on cannabis. We are probably, if not the last, one of the last countries that they decided to do something. That doesn't mean nothing because it takes time. They need to do this, in the parliament. They get this report. There was a lot of fights between ways of view of how we can regulate this, between more progressives, more conservatives, whatever. Then it get the reports, then we went to elections. Now we have in the new government, on the coalition of Sumar, we have a doctor that is health minister and now has more sensitive about what
We thought.
More sensitive on how to regulate the cannabis. So where do you see, what is going to happen in Spain? Well, more than that, we will enter then on Spain, but where do you see Spain in 5 years?
Crazy.
If you can respond.
No, because you and me were 10 years ago talking about adult regulation in 2017. Do you remember when we started?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to make any predictions because it's crazy. It's not. I think that we are going to start and we are going to fight a lot because what we are going to give us is bullshit. So we have to, I think our job is not going to be done because what we are going to give us is so bad for patients that we have to keep going, and it's a pity. As you said, we are the last ones with Belgium. We are the 7th producer in Europe, but we are the last on helping our people who suffers.
I think it's pretty good not to be the first mover like Canada and like Germany, to sit back and watch and then kind of implement. And I think Spain in 5 years will kind of watch and learn, I hope. learn and all the work you've done. It's amazing. And kind of learn from those countries and say, okay, now we're ready. Now we've learned all the lessons. Let's kind of roll it out and do it in a proper way. Ease of access for patients, medical community being all educated. I think it has a good chance. But I haven't been all involved in the Spanish regulatory system like you guys.
Pablo, you feel more confident to do predictions?
It's really, really difficult to know what is going to happen in 5 years, even in 5 days.
Yeah.
Everything is moving really fast here in Spain. But I think there is a window of opportunity with this change of mind and this little window that they have opened. The question, I think, is a long run, because the window that we have on the table at this moment will not represent a big ban on the market. That means there is a very limited access to the cannabis. There is a very limited access on the indications. We have to train the doctors, we have to train the pharmacies, we have to train the distribution. There are many things to do. At least we have something, I think. This is the positive. I would like to be positive. We have a little window, and I hope that using this window properly and teaching the authorities about this, we can spread the market and spread the access to cannabis to the patient. But now, but in 5 years, you never know. We could change the government, and the government would be against, and never knows.
It's funny, so I will do the prediction then, my feeling, no? Because sometimes they ask me, I used to be involved on the movement of the cannabis social clubs, and now the people, after 7 years, not be so much involved with it. Iker, when this government is going to regulate the clubs? Normally I say, like, let's say 10, 15 years. Wow, 10, 15 years for the clubs? It's like, with this government, this society, probably yes, we need a new government of the conservatories, and let's see who is the next government after Pepe who is coming, and if they are of the experience on Germany. But we have examples from Europe, I would say, like, let's see Portugal. I think the people in Portugal, the parties in Portugal, they are like, what is happening here? Yeah, there is like 60 companies, we are producing, we're everything, but in the pharmacies, we have only one product from Tilray.
Yeah.
Just one flower from Tilray, and I need to pay $10 or $15, something like that. So, I mean, we have the Greece example, we have Portugal, we have other countries, we have France doing this experiment with 3,000 people and everything. So.
But we know the news from France from yesterday, they are going to remove the flowers, so we are going back. Huh?
Maybe.
And also, I would love to say that even if we are saying that everything is difficult, we already know that the alegaciones from the 4th of March, they were not going to be heard. Now it's going to happen a second round, and we really have the opportunity in these few months to try to change something. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the first process of the 4th of March are not going to do anything. It's just like a circus. But yeah, they told us. But the important thing that is going to happen in Spain is from here. They send us we already have seen the document. We received it the other day. Okay, after our meeting.
Wow.
Yeah. So you go to the meeting without any information. They don't show you the document, but we receive it the next day. And yeah, we have now, I think, few months where we can fight, and it's going to be private fight. It's not going to be like a public. The public is for the 4th of March. Okay. But now the real deal is starting now. So we, the patients, need a lot of help if we want to change something. If not, we are going to lose.
Wow, so great news. So this is why I was asking for the prediction, because with all the elements that we have in the table, it looks like it's going to take a lot of time to make an effective model in Spain, no? Is that the feeling, no? That it's going to take time, they don't want to regulate, they prefer, no? Like pharmacies on the hospitals, so this is going to be more difficult. Clinical trials takes like 4 or 5 years, big investment, no? So develop a medicine, which is what they are saying. The agency is like, oh, yeah, we regulate, yeah, develop your own products. Okay, who has 10, 15 million to invest on a future medicine, no?
But there are some companies, can I say, like Curaleaf, like other companies, that they are doing clinical trials and they are spending the money, so you can do it. Maybe you choose not to do it, but you can do it. And the companies who are going to make the clinical trials, they will become a medicine, and it would be great. The issue is that some people want to be on the market without any test. So the agency said, if you give us test, your product will be on the market for sure. They are not saying you are not going to be in the market, but you have to prove that you're doing things properly.
Okay. So let's go on the individual questions. Rob, I will ask why Curaleaf is in Europe, why it took the decision, the company, of being involved in Europe, and which lessons you will bring from Canada, no? From which mistakes. I mean, obviously Canada was a model, I think, more thinking on the export, because you are like 30, 40 million people. It's not so very big market, but I think it's one of the most interesting experience, no, worldwide. So I would like to ask these couple of questions to you
We learn a lot from Canada and America, especially Curaleaf in America. They always call me up, and the head executives, and they're like, hey, Rob, we have this beautiful genetic now. It's doing well. It's really stable. Now let's get it to the market. Let's get it in Poland. Let's get it in Italy. Let's get it. And I said, it's not like America. It's not like Canada. You can't just have a flower and get it in. It takes 1.5 years to get into Poland. It takes a long time. They're like, what? How? Why? And now they're slowly learning and figuring that out, that Europe is a lot different than Canada and the US. And things take a lot of time to get just one SKU, one flower, one oil into any market. Germany is a little easier, but it's still a lot. If you have to do irradiation, you got to get the AMRAD V certificate. So there's so many different things that the US and Canada don't really understand. So when they do have our meetings, and they're learning more because they're becoming more international, that they're figuring that out, and now they're sitting down and saying, okay, this country takes this long to get 1 or 2 products. Let's start the registration. This country takes this. They're learning and they're understanding. And with Canada, there's so many mistakes I can't even start. There's the pricing models. There's the taxes, the government taxes that they charge. There's everything that made it hard for medical companies or recreational companies to kind of compete with the black market. The black market kept winning. And all of the regulatory things and all the setbacks that Canada was facing to this day is not, competing with the black market. And hopefully that changes. Hopefully other countries, especially Spain, Portugal, Germany, everybody realizes that and sees that, the government can't just roll this out and just charge ridiculous amounts of taxes, and everybody has high prices, and you have to compete with that black market just to get your product out there and to survive. So in Canada, there's a lot of bankruptcies and companies going under, the big companies and even the small players. So hopefully everyone learns that lesson in the US, Canada, and here in Spain too, when they're rolling out their market.
Thank you, Rob. So another question. We have not so much time, but Pablo, I would like to ask to you, you represent Medical Plant. I think it's the second license. I know it's the second license. Now you are competing against Linneo, I will say. Linneo has been trying to develop good flowers for a long time, investing a lot of money. Still they are trying it, but they have really good position. Now medical plants enter to develop also flower and maybe potentially in the future extraction. At the same time, you come from the pharma, you have experience on this, and at the same time, you are the president of the Association of Authorized License in Spain. How is your vision about the market, no? With your experience from the pharma and being in this complex industry and representing the voice, because there is, I think there is this 8-10 license in the association. So how do you see this? Which one is your feelings about everything this, no? With your knowledge on the pharma level as well?
Okay, first of all, I would like to have only one competitor, like Neo. But we are competing with everybody in the world. That means that we have a very strong competition in Portugal, and where the legislation for producer are more flexible than we have in Spain. And so there are many other competitors, and we have to compete them in other markets, because now in Spain there is no market. So we have to compete in Germany, we have to compete in UK, in other countries. I have to say that I always try to be positive. I think Spain has a very good opportunity in terms of research, and in terms of the companies that we represent, like you, in the association, that in genetics or even in research, we are in a top position. I think we have. On producing, I think we have a lot of problems, not because we have not the competence for produce a good quality here in Spain, but because the regulation is quite tight. And we have no the flexibility of the markets. We have discussed many times. In Spain, we have to have an order before to produce. And this is really, really tough, because we cannot manage the production as we would like, and we cannot offer what we have. We have to look something that believe in us and invest in us. This is very difficult. And I think the situation is that I think Europe is opening. Germany is opening. France will be open. Italy, UK, I think is coming also a good market. So in this sense, I think Spain has a lot of things to do there. Offering genetics and development, new product, new plants, working on all the environment together, also producing, and why not? We have a very strong pharmaceutical industry in Spain. So the idea is how to connect us with this industry to produce and to invest and in what we have, that it is to teach the doctors on how to prescribe, how to use the cannabis, in develop a model with the pharmacies to be safe, we be sure that the distribution as a narcotic is under control and there is nothing. So we have a lot of opportunities, but it's something that it could take some time.
Okay, you feel positive, that's good. So final question for Carola. I will be 1 hour asking you things. You have a prominent position on all this process on the regulation. You was mentioned that you are not very happy, that your expectations on what the patents are going to receive or which ones. So you've been reclaiming that there is enough evidence worldwide and in Europe. There is a potential fight between the patents, the organizations that represent patents. There is also in Spain multiple actors, because Spain has a lot of social movements, different interpretation of how to regulate the medical cannabis. So I would like to ask to you in which point we are. What can we expect from this government? And I don't know, which should be your recommendation to the government, no? I guess that you are doing, indeed, you said that probably you are the only one that saw that document that they want to release, no? So it's not a so public process that, no, they are now saying, no, okay, up to the 4 March associations, you can send your opinion and everything. And we have seen different positions of different, but the observatory didn't, because like you said, you are waiting for a second. So can you give us some light, or if there is no light and it's super dark expectation, what we can do for bring more light to this process?
What I started to yesterday is start talking to the press again. Okay. And say that they told us that the patient is going to be in the center, and this was a lie, because the agency told the government that it will be going to be a patient while they redact la famosa hoja de ruta. It was a lie. There was no patient there. And when we wanted to, the other day in the meeting, when I tried to explain to the agency and the Secretary of Health that 50% of our patients use flowers, they even didn't took my evidence. They even took our papers. It's a lack of respect in a meeting to do that to patients. So this is where we are right now, and we are not going to stop because we have a few months to keep fighting, and yes or yes, this will be the last month. You know, the observatory is already closed. We will try to do our best during these months, and then the rest of the work should be done by patients, not by the observatory anymore. Okay, it's us as patients, because we as observatory, we did 10 years ago, we started the observatory and we said, we are born to die. We did our best, we get into here, and now I think it's the patient organizations who needs to continue doing the work, because we have a lot of work to do.
Wow, thank you so much. I will ask a clap for Carola and all the patients. Thank you.
Also, Iker, if you allow me, I would love to say to everyone in this room that the Patient Council is going to start to say these things loud. We decided not to shut up anymore. We are going also to denounce some bad practice from the industry. And we as patients are going to start some webinars, and we are going to try to keep conversations with the policymakers, with the industry, with everyone, but I think from the perspective of the patients, enough is enough. So many people treat us cruel, promise us things, support. You already know this.
Yeah.
So now that we are 22 countries together, in Vienna, here, we are going to say things properly, because we have been shut up until now, so it's time to start speaking.
Oh, sounds good. So thank you so much. We try to do the best, because it's a super complex to discuss this point on medical cannabis. It will be like for a whole journey. Tomorrow we will have all the industry in ICBC show as well, talking about what happened, movements, investment, lines, medicine, whatever. But I think it is really good that we have this discussion here in the Cannabis Hub, which is open to discuss the hemp, the clubs, the regulation, and also the medical cannabis. And it's been great to have representatives like Curaleaf, big companies, Pablo, patents and license. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Hope
Thank you so much.
You enjoy it.